What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be comparing two of the big top dog side-by-sides right now, but not the highest model. We're going to go with the base models of each of these, talk about the price, talk about every spec, what you're paying for the horsepower you're getting, the performance that you're getting, the creature comforts that you're getting, the whole thing, and see which one makes more sense. Let me get my personal bias out of the way, because all I want this to be is a spec sheet, not a Polaris versus Can-Am. We're just gonna look at the numbers because we're not out there racing them. We're not out there doing performance on the desert or the mountains or anywhere else. This is just straight up off paper, okay? But for me, personal bias, all right? I am a Can-Am person. I'm 6'7", I fit in that. I do not fit in Polaris. They are made for shorter people with bigger wallets. So that's where I am. I'm gonna be there. Just everybody know that. But again, this is not gonna lean one way or the other. We're going straight down the fact sheets. All right, so we're gonna start here with the Pro R. Straight out, coming out of the gate, $37,500. That's what you're looking at with this car right here. And I'm doing this with a no build, okay? Not adding any accessories, not doing anything else like that. Just how they come out of the box, the price they are out of the box, so we can look at the total specs side by side, because these are the two cars that are going to be really duking it out between friends and family and cause rifts and all sorts of crap. So let's just dig in. Okay, so straight up, what do we got? We got 225 horsepower, 74-inch width, 16 inches of ground clearance. That's great. I mean, out of the box, you've got just a killer ride going here, okay? Now, this is almost a 2000 cc four-cylinder engine. It's huge and no turbo, naturally aspirated. We all know all of this stuff. This is still with a CVT. And overall, when you kind of run through the basics here, talking about weight and stuff like that, there are some things that kind of make these two cars way more comparable than they were in the past. Can-Am was always very light with their rigs, and now they've really added some weight. So the thing to look at with this Pro R is at 2,144 pounds, we're putting down about 9.5 pounds per horsepower, and that's actually pretty good. I would say, kind of from an overall basis and overall build right now, before digging into that new Maverick R, you're getting a lot more meat on the Pro R to support that weight of that engine in the back. And, you know, we'll get into the Can-Am details here in a second. But just the few specs: 12-gallon gas tank, 300-pound box capacity. It's got some cool things going for it. As far as like creature comforts, ride command, that's great. Bigger alternator, great. You've got a few things going for it that are definitely good creature comforts, and a 15-inch wheel, 32-inch tires. I do think that's important. Shocks are Walker Evans. The other thing here, 27 inches of usable travel, 22.5 inches of wheel travel, or just slightly less than that. I don't understand why we can't just have the wheel travel number. I actually think that's better, that's more important, okay? And then on the rear shocks, we've got the 3-inch Walker Evans, and again, that's supporting all of that weight back there, which is great, okay? And the rear is 24.5 inches or 29 inches of usable travel. So there you go on the Pro R. If we go with the basics, let's just run through the basics on the new Maverick R as well. As everybody knows, they boosted the engine, which is awesome. 240 horsepower. That's big. A couple of things that I noticed that I don't think were really talked about in any of the release videos. One is their new power steering system, the Generation 2 Tri-Mode, and it specifically says high torque. I know that was a problem. The DPS units would fail on the others if they took too hard of a hit. So I'm interested to learn more about that. That'll be very interesting. And then obviously we're going with an automatic 7-speed transmission, which again, I think is very cool, but I'm worried about its longevity. I don't really know, since it's a new thing. I'm not really too sure about it, but I digress. So 240 horsepower on that one. That's really what people are looking at. Turbocharged 3-cylinder, okay? Suspension, jumping in here. Front shocks, 2.5-inch Fox Podium QS3s, okay? The front suspension, we've all seen it. 25 inches of suspension travel. I see how they do that different. I don't know if that's wheel travel or total travel. And then the rear 4-link trailing arm, 25 inches as well. The rear shocks are also 2.5-inch podium shocks, so they're not as big and beefy as those Walker Evans. Tires and wheels, these only come with 30-inch tires. The higher packages come with 32s and 15-inch wheels. The brakes, they increase, bigger braking power finally. That's actually really good. Wheelbase of 108, ground clearance of 17 inches. It makes it slightly longer than the Pro R with a little bit more ground clearance. However, that 4 or 5 inches, maybe 4 inches, that 1 inch in the middle might be given up, okay? But it's cool to know that you can absolutely throw 35-inch tires on either of these cars. If you go from 16 inches of total ground clearance on the Pro R, that's gonna put you at about 17.5 on that one. If you throw them onto here with the 30 inches, that's gonna give you another 2.5 inches, put you at 19.5 inches of ground clearance. That's huge. I mean, that's really significant. I'm running about 19 on my XRS right now. So at 2,150 pounds and 240 horsepower, we're doing really good here. We're under 9 pounds, so it is still lighter per horsepower that you're putting to the ground. But what I don't know is the difference in the lag between the new transmission versus a belt and all that kind of stuff. Same 1700 watt alternator. You've got a 7.5-inch digital display on the Can-Am. There are some other kind of cool things. It's winch ready, but the base Can-Am has half doors, no roof. So there's 5 things that separate the Can-Am from the Pro R as far as features on the base model. Number 1 is going to be tires. So you're gonna have a smaller tire on the Can-Am. Number 2, no roof. You're not gonna have that, which if you're like anybody else, you wanna have a roof, so you're not gonna have that. Number 3, you're getting half doors again. I can't freaking stand all these half door things that people do. It's so stupid. Just give us full doors. I don't understand. It probably costs about $15 more in plastic to throw a full door on there. You're getting more power, for sure, out of the Can-Am. And of course, you're getting that automatic transmission. So there you have it. When you compare the two, we've actually gotten into a category that makes a hell of a lot more sense now. The few things that really stand out are obviously Can-Am boosted the horsepower considerably through that Rotax engine. 3 cylinders versus 4, turbo versus naturally aspirated. This isn't getting into tunes or anything like that of what you're gonna be able to do in the aftermarket. I think that that's obviously up to personal riders and things like that. This is out of the box, right? So you're still getting such a considerable value out of the Can-Am in just its standard Maverick R compared to the Pro R. And from a horsepower standpoint, I think it's kind of negligible. I don't know how much horsepower loss is gonna transfer from the automatic transmission down to the wheels compared to a CVT. We don't have any of that data yet. All we have are, here are the facts. The Can-Am, as far as price point goes, is still beating the Pro R, you know, but does that really matter? At the end of the day, for consumers like myself, I am looking to have the most fun I possibly can in the best vehicle I possibly can that I can afford. And I just want a reliable car when I'm out there in the desert with my buddies or my family. So again, as I said in the beginning of the video, that's what I have back here. I look forward to seeing more videos about these big super powered cars as they come out and are raced and tracked and timed and everything else. And of course, the defects that come from them as well. That's it. I'll talk to you guys later.